Hey everybody, it's your friend Adam. I'm here with. Hey, that's your cue.
Huh? What? Are we on? Oh, I gotta put away my Nazi propaganda. Hold on. Hey now, it's your boy PSA Sitch here.
So let us know in the chat if everything looks good on my end, but seems like last time you guys couldn't hear me for a long time.
So
Testing.
before we
Okay,
start,
I
though,
see.
and I don't care if you can't hear Friended because he's not important. I want to point out that the thumbnail that Friended made for this video, the background, you'll see like a blue guy, like hands. Okay, that's really Cyclops holding back his optic blast. So Friended made
No. He's letting his optic blast rip, man.
There you go. So
that's like
Friended made
super
a
optic
thumbnail
blast
with eye lasers behind eye lasers behind eye lasers. I just want everyone to appreciate how meta that is.
People are expecting eye lasers from me now. Like I'm getting to the point where people are constantly complaining when the thumbnail doesn't have lasers in it. They're like, "What? No lasers? Come on, you're killing me." Did you see the one I did today of Richard Dawkins? I did some cool lasers.
Of course I did. I watched all your videos the moment they come out.
I did.
I'm such a good person and a good friend like that.
Well, at least you look at the thumbnail.
Just look at the thumbnail.
That's the way to go. Hold on. My mic always goes down a little bit, so
Yeah,
we're talking about this little YouTuber, this little pipsqueak.
Little, huh?
We need a good nickname for him. We need a good Donald
Genetically
Trump.
modified fedora.
Put
it out there.
That's a win. Did you come up with that on the fly?
I'm so clever. I came up with this joke right now. No one else has ever thought of this. Oh, I thought he was a much larger channel. I don't feel bad anymore. If you're saying something, your mic is dead, and I can't hear you. Not putting any laws on guns so that our kids die in order to own the libs. Oh, now the stream's dead. Oh, I can hear you now. I did. But now the whole stream's dead. Sounds good. Okay, we're back. So say something and let us know if you can hear Friended.
Test. Hey everybody. We're having trouble hearing Sitch now. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. All right.
You can.
Yeah, I can hear you. Our stream is still going up and down, and I reset the modem this time. That actually helped last time I did that, but No one is ever going to watch another stream of ours again.
I know. You're probably gonna have to call your provider and bitch at them.
Okay.
Because I think that's the only solution.
Yeah.
If they're throttling. See, this is why we need net neutrality. You all laughed, but it's affecting us personally.
Yeah, we seem to be settled in now. I think maybe, I don't know, my fingers are crossed. Everything's working. Hopefully my mic won't die again. If my mic dies again, I guess I'll just reset it. I apologize in advance, obviously. We got complaints on the last stream because were so many dropouts and whatnot, but I don't know what we can do.
And no, I didn't get stabbed, but thank you for your concern and validate. So should we just
dive in?
Oh, dive in.
Are you seeing?
Even though the stream dropped.
I know. You can't see it on my end. I can see the arrow. We had a super chat. Let's at least read the super chat before the stream dies and we can't come back.
Oh, I read it. I don't know if,
you did?
It might have been when you were. But we can read it again. You can read it this time. How about that?
Hades XY.
Hades. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Is that a Warski moment? Did I just have my Loki moment?
You had your, what'd you say the other day? Jungian?
My Jungian moment?
It's your Jungian moment.
I hit it in stride, okay? Okay, kids, it's not a big deal if you get a word wrong. Just fix it along the way. The first half of my YouTube career, I said anecdotal instead of anecdotal.
No, you didn't.
I did. Everyone was like, Adam, it's anecdotal.
Jesus.
I must have heard it in some audiobook where they were pronouncing it wrong, and it just kind of worked its way into my brain. But
so you said it as a joke, right? It was you were referencing something that no one else knew.
No, I was a dumbass. I didn't know.
I was trying to give you a little ground here.
It's okay to be a dumbass. It really is. Just fix it along the way. Being able to say that you're a dumbass and move on, that's like gold right there. Being able to do that is the way to go. Just fix it along the way. Yeah. Good enough. Learn this term. Good enough. Hades XY for CHF $5 says, never caught one of these live, but here are some shekels for you guys. I like these kind of streams. Why, thank you. We will disabuse you of that notion that you will like these kind of streams.
How dare you?
With all of our technical difficulties. No, the content.
Well, yes, that's true.
The content is gold, but
yes,
we're still ironing out the technical difficulties, unfortunately. So
we see. I just looked up. CHF is a Swiss currency.
Really? Oh,
so
welcome.
he is paying back the money that his ancestors stole from my ancestors, who probably died horribly in the Holocaust.
The Swiss were a member of that. After last week, someone had suggested in my comments reading The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. You don't read, so you've never read this book.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
So I got the audio book. It's in 5 parts. It's 57 hours long.
Oh my god.
But it's actually pretty fascinating. And there were some quotes in there. Hitler hated Marxists. Hated them.
No,
so
but the Nazis were really communists. What are you talking about?
I know, exactly. I'm going, what is this argument? He says so many terrible things about Marx and Marxism. He wanted to be the one, and we were right about the manifest destiny thing. He wanted to do an Alexander the Great thing. He basically lays it out in Mein Kampf. He had the most retarded name for the book Mein Kampf. It was like, they shortened it to My Struggle, but it was like, my struggle to unite the German people from all the lands all over the world to make our destiny known. I'm like, dude, you're going into 7 paragraphs here for a book title. So it was completely ridiculous, and evidently it was riddled with spelling errors and grammatical errors as well that they tried to iron out. So,
he wrote it in prison though, right?
A part of it he wrote in prison, yes. Which was kind of interesting that he he actually attempted to take over the German government by revolution at gunpoint,
Right.
and it failed. Do you know this?
I know this.
Okay, I don't I don't know. I don't remember anything about the history, but and it failed, and he got thrown in prison, and then he elected to do it through the democratic means. So it's
What a nice guy. He failed to violently take over the country, so he just did it legally.
I know it's filled with so much weirdness. Like he was
Right.
definitely just a weird guy, a completely weird guy. So we got another super chat.
Multi one man for $5. Good to know I'll have one of these to put me to sleep tonight. I love you both, and God bless. See, he wants some political ASMR.
There you go.
That's what he's saying right there.
So we're
The rest of
looking,
this video.
so we're looking. We were going to look at what's the guy that I sent you the video. John Stossel. Is it John Stossel or
John Stossel? Yes.
John Stossel officially triggers Sitch?
So yeah, I don't know if you guys know who John Stossel is. He's a Fox News commentator who is like so conservative that I don't have an analogy for it. Like every possible conservative view that's like possible, theoretically possible, he embodies like the worst version of it.
He's technically a libertarian, and I didn't know the guy that much. He did an interview on Steven Crowder. So I checked him out from that, and I was kind of into it.
Well, okay, wait a minute. Okay, I have to explain my first run-in with John Stossel. I turn on the TV, it's Fox News, and it's John Stossel, and he goes out and he's like, do you think giving money to homeless people who beg on the streets is a good idea? Well, I'm here to tell you it's a bad idea, because they're most likely scamming you. And he finds some girl who's like, begging for change. And it turns out that she lives in like a normal upper middle class neighborhood. And she just does this for money.
Oh
but he like
God.
paints that like, oh, you should never give any money to homeless people because I found this one person who's doing this.
Have you seen that video that went viral of the old lady who was panhandling, and she goes off and gets in like a brand new red Prius, and the guy,
Yes, I have seen that.
it's like, and the guy is like pounding on her window, like I give to you every single day.
See, right? See, but you're saying that you agree with John Stossel.
Well, I did.
They're all liars. They're all fakers.
Okay, so next week we'll probably look at a John Stossel just for the trigger factor, just to get old Sitch.
Just to get me upset.
Just to get its old Sitch triggered up. I'll do a nice thumbnail with like a trigger.
Thanks.
Because I was kind of into what he was saying. I thought it made a lot of sense. And I had a friend of mine that was a philosophy major, and she gave me a rundown on why you should never give to homeless people either. And it's probably just because I'm stingy and I don't like giving to homeless people. But
if you don't want to give money to homeless people, I don't care. But I think it's really gross to paint this picture that every homeless person is scamming you. Like that's really immoral thing to do, because I think that's such a tiny percentage of people.
You don't know though. You're just making that up. It could be 50%.
Okay, but when you see people, but when I see people who are like in wheelchairs and they're missing limbs and they're like dressed like crap and they smell terrible, I'm assuming it's not an elaborate scam to get a couple of bucks. I mean, I don't think they make that much.
Hey, Shoe on Head is in our chat. You should say hi. Your friend Shoe's here. Hey, what's up, Shoe?
Sup.
She says she listens to these while she does her chores. Well, that's good. It's good.
The Jordan Peterson is rubbing off. She's cleaning her room.
Oh my goodness. So we have this video actually triggered me a little bit. You sent it to me immediately. I think it just dropped today.
Yesterday or the day before.
Okay.
It just showed up in my recommend. I don't know. It's so weird. Like, I guess since we look at all these Jordan Peterson videos, I get all the anti ones showing up in my recommended all of a sudden. And I saw it and I immediately thought of you. I thought, oh, I bet Friended is upset about this one.
I haven't really watched the whole thing, and he's like, I think it's 4 quacks. So he's he's putting Jordan Peterson up against Alex Jones.
4 ways quacks. It's not 4 quacks. It's 4
okay.
different tactics.
I gotcha. Okay.
Though he does in the beginning talk about Alex Jones. So he's putting Alex Jones on the same tier as Jordan Peterson.
So it's predominantly about Jordan Peterson then.
Right.
Okay. I haven't watched the whole thing. So have you watched the whole thing?
I did watch the whole thing.
Okay, good. So I did one response to this guy on he's doing the responses to Jordan Peterson. He knows Jordan Peterson rakes in the views. So
Right.
he's like hitting the Jordan Peterson bell over and over again. I think this might be his fourth video on Jordan Peterson, maybe fifth. Rationality Rules is up to 8 videos on Jordan Peterson. Which I mean, I'm just every single one of my videos is on Jordan Peterson.
Like I say, how many videos are you on?
I'm into the hundreds, I believe, but I'm not. It's not a secret. Somebody in my comment section the other day was like giving me a hard time for all the Jordan Peterson videos, trying to say, you know, I'm making money off Jordan Peterson. And I'm like, yeah, okay, like I'm not hiding it or anything. Like, yes, we know this, but his response on the other video that I covered was to the psychedelics, but it was such a nitpicky thing that it really didn't warrant any kind of video response.
Oh, the using shrooms to satiate smoking desires.
To quit smoking. Yeah, exactly.
He talks about that in this one too. Again.
Oh, really? It's a little nitpick. I stumbled across a Reddit thread that was pretty awesome. It's all the things that people say about Jordan Peterson, like all the standard comebacks, like he's all right, just all the little nitpicks. It was actually
you took him out of context.
Yeah, they constantly take him out of context. I sent Sitch about 5 or 6 videos now. There's a lot of response videos to Jordan Peterson from the other side. I've done I think 4 videos now on the Sam Harris Jordan Peterson debates. And I was wondering, it dawned on me today. I thought, well, how come I'm not seeing people on the Sam Harris side doing critiques of the debate as well?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm only seeing people on the Jordan Peterson side. Maybe the algorithm is only showing
didn't they
people.
didn't come out. I mean, they just came out, right?
Yeah, so we might see more.
So yeah, you gotta give it a day. You know, most people aren't, you know, as quick as you are.
They're in the comments section. There's so many Sam Harris fans in the comment section. I don't think people realize that when you already have a feeling about who won, like when you come to the debate with you're in love with Sam Harris, you're going to believe that Sam Harris won.
I think obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get Pangburn to give you like special access to their clips?
Well, Pangburn gave me a copyright strike on one of my videos, and I contacted Pangburn to ask them to remove the strike, and they were super amicable about it, and I just started talking to them, and I told them, because I think it was when I had just started the channel and I was growing pretty quickly, and they're trying to grow a YouTube channel as well. So I just was trying to give them some insight on how to grow the YouTube channel. But they're in a really, I don't know, I did an interview. I doubt you watched it, but I talked to him about his situation. And his situation is kind of a strange thing because he can't really compete on the content because Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson can just have a phone call. There's no fees for any of that, and they have this piece of content. So he's making money off of the live shows, so he has to make his money off the live shows, and the content is kind of an afterthought. And if he puts the content out too quickly, he's worried people aren't going to show up for the live shows.
Right.
Everybody has a theory on this. Everybody says, no, just put the content out, but I don't know. I honestly don't know what would happen.
I don't know either. So let's watch the video.
Is that our segue?
That's our segue.
I want to mention too that I did a response video to this guy early on. I used him in a response video that I did very poorly, that really triggered the heck out of most of these anti-theists, and they all kind of.
Isn't that a good thing?
What do you mean?
Isn't that what you want, to trigger them?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
so you didn't do it poorly. You did it quite well.
I guess I did it good, but I guess I was under the delusion that that was just how YouTube goes, and that they wouldn't.
Right.
But I mean, they literally hate my guts now. Like it's honest to goodness hatred. So, I mean, it's all good fun for me. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate any of these people, but
You say that, but I don't know if I believe it.
I mean, I can't. I'm trying to think of anyone on YouTube that I hate.
Well, hate is a strong word. Maybe dislike.
I think I don't. Yeah, I don't think I hate any of them though. I mean, I think they're foolish and stuff. Who's that one SJW guy that you always get triggered over?
I don't know.
Like how many are there? He's African American, but I didn't want to say the black guy because I was like,
oh, you mean you mean T1J?
T1J, that's it. Yeah.
That was only because he was a dick to me.
Yeah, totally. But
Right.
see, even though these guys are dicks to me 24/7, man,
That's true.
and I don't even hate them. Like that Nightmare Fuel guy, I blocked just because. Okay, so I mute a lot of these people, and if I'm not following them, I don't see what they're doing. But then I go to their timeline and I see like 7 tweets in a row are retweeting screenshots of my tweets. It's like,
right.
Come on, guy, knock that off.
You're a popular guy. Why are you complaining?
No, I don't like that stuff because they totally take you out of context. It's not remotely what you mean. It's bad stuff. So
there's no bad publicity.
So I block him, and he makes a video about how I blocked him. But he blocked me on his channel months and months and months before this. He shadow banned me.
Are you talking about Reese or are you talking about this guy?
Reese.
Genetically modified.
Reese. Oh, okay. I'm probably shadow banned on his account.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm probably shadow banned, but who cares? What genetically modified fedora tipper, man? We've already got a nickname. Nicknames have been assigned. All right.
GMF.
Ready to dive in?
Ready to do it.
Are you going to do it or am I? Don't get lazy.
Meaning 12 Rules for Life, an antidote to chaos.
From alternative medicine salesmen to pseudo-intellectuals to religious...
How do you feel about the SpongeBob opening? I think it's all right.
Yeah, they pull clips and stuff like that. I mean, they're trying to be entertaining. It's full propaganda when they're pulling the worst possible clips of Jordan Peterson, though. I mean, that was designed to go cringe. And it's so funny that his argument in the very beginning here is emotional argument. Well, guess what cringe is? Cringe is an emotional argument. Like, we're going to show you this super cringy clip of Jordan Peterson. It's going to give you the skeebies, and then our argument is going to be solid.
Well, I will say that when I originally watched this video, I was very distracted because his hair is so foofy and fluffy. I just want to pat it. It's like, look at his little foofy hair. He's like a hedgehog.
I want to point out, guess who's going the ad hom like right off the bat?
That's not no. I didn't say it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing to have poofy hair, right? Look at his little poofy head. You just want to touch his little poofy head.
Have you seen that GIF of the trimming the dog, the little poofy dog? It's like the little clippers. That's what it reminds me of. One of those little toy dogs. His barber probably hates his guts. He's probably there like, no, a little. It's got to be a little,
a little more here, a little
poof
product. See, I was saying it as a nice thing. You're taking this horrible direction, okay?
Oh, okay. I got you.
So full of negativity, Adam. Oh my God.
Religious apologists to politicians and political commentators, many public figures seeking greater power and popularity make use of the same dishonest tactics to manipulate their audiences into siding with and supporting them. Now, I'm sure that if you're the kind of person...
See, I want to also point out here that on the right doesn't really see appeals to emotion as wrong. They don't see it as manipulation. The leftists do see appeals to emotion as manipulation. And that's one of the reasons that they're always getting stomped in politics. But go ahead.
I guess I feel like you're right, but I also feel like the left does the same. Like both sides they do the emotion game for their issue, and then they only do the facts thing when it's something they disagree with.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I would, as a horrible elitist liberal, I think I agree with the original statement that the right doesn't care about using feels.
Yeah, they don't care if they're going to go after someone, they're going to use feels. Plus, if they're going against an issue or for an issue, they know how to hit people in the gut, and that's what they go for. But his opening argument here is that that's manipulation. He also he perceives of religion as an authoritarian structure that is meant to subjugate you, where a lot of people see religion as a way to structure their lives. Like it's a way to, they like that constraint.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can say like religion has been used for both ways for thousands of years, both to subjugate people and to structure their lives. So I don't know if you can really say like, which one is the intended purpose, and does it even matter? Because they've both been used that way. I don't know if that's like a good distinction.
But with separation of church and state though, and religious freedom, I mean, we have the best system here. As long as it's voluntary, I don't see how it can be subjugation.
Well, still, would you think? What about those evangelion guys who are scamming people for money, out in the Midwest somewhere? I mean, is that a form of subjugation?
I think that's corruption, definitely, but
not subjugation.
Well, if people willingly go to a church, I don't
right.
I don't see how that can be subjugation.
I agree with you.
Like if the leaders came out and said we have a religion, a state religion, okay, we're having a conversation about subjugation, but I don't see how that works if people voluntarily join. It's like we have an all-volunteer army now too, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say that the military is
right.
Forcing anyone to. I mean, we have the most freedom of any nation currently in modern times.
Hell yeah. Fuck Canada.
Do they have?
But
do they have?
Yeah, no, I agree
service?
with you about the subjugation thing, but I mean, it's definitely been used for large swaths of history. I mean, for thousands of years, Christianity was used as a tool of subjugating people in Europe.
What are you clipping? Are you clipping your nails over there?
I have a knife.
Can you do that after the stream?
I can.
You cut your
I'm so edgy. I have to hold the knife while we're talking.
What do you? One day, Sitch is going to come on camera with his butterfly knife. He's like, he's going to have his nunchucks.
I'm going to put the butterfly knife on the nunchucks.
I'm just pointing this out because I don't know if you saw this other video this guy did about how woe is me. He's been so subjugated by his religion. I'm just pointing out that that's his
angle.
I understand. It's SJW, victimhood culture. It's, oh my God, I'm so oppressed because my parents taught me about Jesus. It's like,
right.
I don't know. It rings very, I don't like it. I don't like victimhood culture. I really don't. I was raised in the church. I was raised Baptist, and I felt like it gave me a good ethics. I think of ethics like sports, okay? When you start playing sports, you're using your mind, right? But soon it becomes muscle memory. And a lot of athletes, they don't even really think about it. That's the idea. When you box, you're supposed to practice enough that it just becomes second nature. It's muscle memory. You don't even have to use your brain anymore. You just use
you want moral memory.
Yeah, exactly. So ethics is like that. You grow up in a church, you're socialized with this ethos, this forgiving ethos. And then when you're older, you don't necessarily need religion because those ethics are just second nature to you. And I think
but there's definitely been lots of people that have not had that positive experience that you had.
Yeah, totally. If you were diddled by a priest, for heaven's sakes,
I'm not even saying like criminal. I'm just saying, they're very strict. The person scares them about hell. Maybe they're gay and they're like super anti-gay. Mm-hmm. The priest is.
Yeah, that I understand that. Yeah, I don't know his situation though, because I think it's real easy for someone to get on the internet. And I mean, if he was in one of those churches where they're like hellfire and brimstone for the gays, I'm not in favor of that at all. I completely disavow that. But it's what he talks about in that video. It seems like regular just church. It doesn't seem like, I mean, it seems like he's going off on how he feels lied to, which I understand. Okay. Nobody likes to be lied to, but
Well, think of it this way: if it's like you've been raised up as a child and you have this very solid existential worldview, and you say, okay, this is how everything is, and you feel safe and secure in that worldview, and then suddenly, like in high school or college, something comes along and it knocks you right off of that.
right.
That's the existential hell that Jordan Peterson's always talking about, because now you're suddenly lost because nothing is solid anymore.
Right. You discover Santa Claus isn't real, and you're like, oh my God.
Well, if you
it's in the world.
based your whole identity around Santa Claus, sure. But
Oh,
if
I
you
guess
base your
you're right.
identity around Jesus,
That's a good point. That's a real good point.
I'm just trying to say you should be maybe a little bit more compassionate to our poofy friend here.
Whose side are you on, buddy? I thought we were gonna wail on this guy. What the?
It's his hair. It's too poofy. It's distracting me.
I think this guy's totally a nice guy. I think the ethics of Christianity, I think he has taken to heart. He's definitely in his anti-theist phase, though. He's like, I've been lied to. I don't want anyone else to be lied to. I was deceived. Like he's in full on retribution mode. He's gonna get even for this, but I don't know.
One day he'll mature and become adults like us and realize the truth.
Well, I don't. That's the thing about this though, because the self-authoring program that Jordan Peterson is always pitching.
Yeah.
That's based on solid psychology. This stuff works.
Sure.
Like you get people to make public declarations, or not. I guess the self-authoring, it's really even a private declaration. Like making a public declaration is 10 times further. Like this is going to become part of his identity. He's not going to be in a position to take any of this stuff back.
Right.
Yeah. So this is going to be hardwired into him. This is one of the reasons why the trans issue bothers me as much, because trying on a non-binary identity, like I can understand, like as people grow up, they try on different identities, but if you're getting pushed into that identity by your social group, people don't understand the power of a social group, especially when you're young, and the social group is even more powerful.
Right. Did you see that? Was it from Rutgers or from Brown? That paper about rapid onset gender dysphoria?
Oh my God. Please make it stop. Make it stop.
In case anyone in the chat doesn't know, was it Brown or Rutger? It was Brown, right?
I don't know.
Whatever. We'll say it's Brown. They had someone wrote a paper about a condition called rapid onset gender dysphoria. And it was all scientifically done, and it was a person studying this idea that for some of the people who were mostly women for some reason, because they're more social, would rapidly all of a sudden, get gender dysphoric feelings, and as in high school when they were a teenager, even though they displayed no feelings about this at any age before, and almost always they had people in their friend group who this happened to them first. So it's kind of what you were saying. They're kind of. Hello? What's happening? Yeah, can you hear me? They said they can't hear me either. Oh. Okay, well, they can hear me again, so that's all that matters. But can you hear Adam? Adam, you... Yes, this is a Jewish conspiracy to prevent Adam, who we know is one step away from becoming alt-right, from slipping in there. And yeah, people still can't hear you. So yeah, well, I'll ask the chat. Why? Okay, chat. Why does Adam get so much like alt-righters? They keep acting like he's so close to becoming alt-right. And I'm like, have they ever listened to anything he's ever said? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. So apparently we might lose the stream for a second because Adam can't get his mic to work. Oh, the mic is working. The thing he connects the mic to isn't working. So your mic is not working.
Test. Okay, I got it.
You got it?
All right, we
Good.
should both be back. Sorry to cough in your face, but
Anyway.
play the video. We've talked too long.
Person who watches videos like this one, you're probably already aware of several manipulation tactics, most of which are some sort of appeal to emotion.
Which you did in the first 5 seconds of your video.
That's why I've decided to discuss more nuanced tactics here, which are commonly used today, but rarely unpacked.
The nuanced tactics are when you pick the worst picture of Jordan Peterson known to man.
The tactics on this list aren't just used by career conmen and snake oil salesmen. They're also used
or YouTubers named genetically modified for. Am I coming in too much? I feel like maybe I am. You're all
Maybe just a little bit.
by some people with actual credentials, sometimes as a primary method of persuasion, and sometimes just as a defense when they've been backed into a corner. Some of them can also be used somewhat unintentionally. I bring this up because, as you'll see, these tactics are easily identifiable in the work of Jordan Peterson. It just goes to show that someone being highly credentialed doesn't necessarily ensure that they're always honest in their means of persuasion. Creating a narrative and enemy. Humans love stories. We retain information much better when it's put in story form than when it's presented directly. The greatest teachers are nearly always the greatest storytellers, but so are the greatest tricksters. Regardless of your message, you'll captivate more people by telling stories to get your message across, and those people will likely remember what you have to say. It's a great and usually honest way to bring in an audience, but with a few extra pieces thrown in, it can become manipulative. Humans are an incredibly social species, and never do they achieve so much so quickly as when they bond together in a common tribe. If a storyteller has already captivated an audience, they can begin to involve their audience in the story by discussing how the story affects them and referring to them as a collective. This begins to give the audience a group identity. The audience can be united further and often even mobilized once the storyteller introduces one more element, the common enemy. If a problem is not only identified but actually given a personal...
So these are all good tips, right? This is what we should all be doing for our videos.
I totally agree with everything he's saying. Yeah, this is a good portion of the video. It's a shame that he had to pin it to Jordan Peterson. This is actually what Jordan Peterson is talking about with the narrative technology. I think Sam Harris called it, which is a great term.
Mm-hmm.
Identity, people are more likely to band together to fight it, and fairly often coming together as an audience to fight a common enemy entails supporting the person that told the audience about it. Let's take a look.
Now, who is his common enemy?
Jordan Peterson.
And religious people. I mean, the only reason they're going after Jordan Peterson is because he's Christian, or because they see him as a Christian apologist.
Right. He's secretly trying to get everyone away from atheism
Yeah,
and become
exactly.
Christian.
Yeah.
Though, do you think if Peterson wasn't doing his thing where he kind of like defines religion and God in the weird way, do you think that they would still care so much about him?
They think that that's deceptive. They think that that's just a trick, an evil
Well,
trick.
it sort of is. Well, I don't know. It kind of is, and it kind of isn't at the same time.
How's it a trick? I think Jordan Peterson is on the let's stop the fight between science and ethics,
Right.
which I think
But,
is a
well,
good thing.
It's not a trick in that, at least since we like him and we're giving him the benefit of the doubt, I'm assuming his motivation is what you're saying, and as well as that he's just trying to show that everyone takes something on faith, and it's kind of an important idea to keep that in the back of your mind.
Right.
But if you take the negative interpretation, and I think you can make this argument, is that he's doing the same thing the people who are redefining racism are doing. They're trying to redefine a word in order to win an ideological argument.
And you think Jordan Peterson appears to be doing that as well?
I think he can. I think it can be perceived that he's doing that. I don't think he's
Right.
doing it as egregiously as the racist people, the racist crowd, because the racist crowd are directly trying to win an argument by redefining racism, so that all white people are racist and you can't be racist against non-white people. They're doing it to shut down conversation, and Jordan Peterson isn't doing it to shut down conversation, but it's kind of similar.
Nietzsche said atheism leads to nihilism. And I think Jordan Peterson believes that atheism is leading to nihilism. And that's what he's afraid of.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I don't necessarily agree that it does lead to nihilism.
You don't think so?
I think it can. I mean, you're not nihilistic.
Yeah.
Or are you?
No, I'm not. Not at all. But I mean, I feel like I know people that religion is helpful for them. It's not really helpful for me. But I think people are different. I think one of the assumptions that people make, one of the wrong assumptions that people often make are people are like me and I feel this way, so they feel this way. When really people are so different, they don't feel the same way as you. What is his belief? What does he take on faith?
You're talking about genetically modified skeptic or Jordan Peterson?
Hey, we have a nickname for him.
Oh, I'm sorry, GMF.
But if you know what Jordan Peterson takes on faith, I would love to know. I mean, I don't think I take anything on faith, but I'm obviously biased. I have to take some things on faith, right? I guess I take moral foundations theory.
Everyone has to take something on faith. I mean, that's kind of why I guess personally why I don't like to get bogged down in these kind of morality arguments, because all morality, especially like the Sam Harris atheist moralities, like all morality arguments and philosophies are based off of the idea that we don't know what happens when you die. So it can all be moot.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, what if when you die, they're like, oh, well, the more you suffer in life, the better your eternal afterlife will be. Well, then that suddenly changes all moral systems.
Yeah. I'm past the afterlife and God and all that stuff. I'm focused on the secular utility of religion. How religion delivers positive outcomes right here in this very world.
Right, but because you've decided that you're an elitist, and you don't need religion to be a ethical, smart person, but other people do.
God, how do I get around that elitist charge?
I don't know if you can.
How do I get around that? I think it's more just people should be free to do whatever they want to do.
Right. Well, it's all just this, religion has been used, or their view is religion has been used to subjugate people for so long, so we just need to get rid of it forever.
And by letting people choose what religion they want to follow, and that is participating to their subjugation, because they're not smart enough to realize that they're being subjugated. I am somehow the elitist.
Hold on.
See. Oh no, did your mic go now?
Okay, it's back. Can you hear me?
I am somehow the elitist because
Yeah.
if by not rushing in and saying your God is fake, you should be an atheist like me. I'm the elitist.
Well, I wonder if a lot of the kind of atheist stuff would go away if there wasn't so many political ideologies tied into religion. Like if it was like if everyone was like
Oh,
a
I know,
Unitarian who
yeah.
just did whatever, no one cared about them. Like would all these atheists care?
Yeah, it's very much a political thing for them. It is very much a political thing for them. They hate conservatives, and they see
Right.
religious people as conservatives. So they think if they get rid of religion, they're like pulling the secret sauce out of the conservative movement. They're like, if we could just abolish this religious stuff, then all these conservatives will be liberals like us.
Are there any like really hardcore conservative anti-theists?
There is one. What is his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. He's actually, there's a meme of him because he went on Fox News and he like belittled some religious people. And let us know in the chat. I know someone in the chat knows who it is, but he's a libertarian. He's a Jewish libertarian atheist. So he covers the
He's
board.
hitting all the check boxes.
Yeah. And he's super aggro. He's a super smart guy, but yeah. So we got a Critter's bug in his back. Nice. Hey, hello. What's up? California, $5. I like it. California is so cool. We have our own money.
Right.
Take that.
It's only accepted in Starbucks though.
Talks about story being a good way to pass on information. Ignores Peterson when he talks about religious stories passing on information over time. Smackdown. Look at that.
Very true.
Yeah, exactly. There's a special kind of just, turning off your brain to go there, right? I mean, one might call
That was what Hugo and Jake were doing the whole time too. It was like they were just ignoring Peterson's whole point about how that's the whole point of the story, is because humans remember things in story format.
They do.
And that's why information is passed down through, religion and Bible stories.
I think I might be the bad guy for these people, which is kind of badass.
You look kind of villainous. Look at you.
Because
you need your blue light on. You're kind of like in your evil lair.
I think the red works. I like the red.
Or the red. Well, but I mean, like you need like a whole filter of it,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like
over the
in
camera.
your.
I can do that.
Right.
I can do that next time.
Look at how this plays out with an example. Alex Jones is adept at weaving, let's say, creative alternative narratives out of current events. Check out his take on the eventually successful push toward marriage equality in the US in 2015.
Now, the truth is there is a move at the UN, and it's nobody's business to be trying to target children with Heather has two mommies, or you can't say boy or girl because somebody may not identify as that. That is space cult, suicide cult, exterminism, craziness. The eugenics transhumanist cult wants to confuse the general species ahead of rendering us down and removing us. The decision has been made. Cheer up, the post-human era is dawning.
He's able to bring his audience into those
Now, why did they get rid of Alex Jones, man? All that made perfect sense.
Oh yeah, the gay agenda is a way to alter human species to not reproduce, I guess.
These transhumanists, man, they're taking over.
Transhumanist.
I'm technically a transhumanist, just so you know. In my Twitter bio, it says future robot. Sign me up for that, man. I don't care. Destructive brain scan, whatever it takes. I'm into it.
You're going to be the first cyborg out there.
I just watched that movie Upgrade last night. That movie's so badass. I might watch it again tonight. It's incredible. Watch the movie Upgrade. It's badass.
Is it better than Rubber?
Is it better than what?
Rubber.
Oh, that's a tough one.
The answer is yes, because anything is better than Rubber.
You will definitely think it's about 1 million times better than Rubber, but for me, Rubber's probably just inches it out by a hair.
giving them a place in his story. Usually, that's the role of an outraged community full of honest, regular people united to oppose a dangerous enemy. And how does Jones suggest his audience fight that enemy? Well, by buying products from his own store, of course.
We need to fund ourselves, and we fund ourselves by you buying the products. We're at a shortfall now because of the massive, sustained economic attacks we're under. But the listeners in just 2 weeks have almost narrowed that gap. I could have to sell my house to keep this place running 3-4 months. I could have sponsors every segment. I don't do it. I plug enough to fund things. Fund us. Give me the energy, and I will attack the enemy.
Don't think that
Tell the truth, Alex. Or at least
how
don't
many
lie.
sponsors would be lining up for Alex fucking Jones?
I like the I might have to sell my house. That's pretty good.
I mean, he's got what? He's got the supplements, which I guess he does. Well, does he make them? Does he have like his own company or something?
Man, they make those things in Mexico for like $5 for a truckload. Are you kidding me?
Right.
It's just powder. It's just sawdust.
It's just sawdust and ground up animal parts. Well, whatever they can't use, whatever the butchers can't sell, they just put in those female vitality pills.
Oh my God.
just because someone as radical as Alex Jones uses this technique, it's only used by radicals. Politicians on all sides reinforce us versus them narratives constantly, as do religious leaders.
So isn't he reinforcing a ridiculous us versus them narrative? Because he starts off with saying, look at all this crazy shit Alex Jones does. But you know who else does it? Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, it's guilt by association fallacy. Although he's not even really made an association. He just poisoned the well by showing
He's just
Alex
setting
Jones.
up an emotion for you to feel.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have to
feel repulsed.
associate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leaders of various faiths.
It's not working,
but
buddy.
regardless of the speaker, manipulation is manipulation. The controversy bait and switch. Nothing grabs your attention like an unapologetic controversial statement. Getting a massive amount of bad publicity for making such a statement is so easy in the age of the internet that people everywhere do it by accident constantly. But what if you could gain publicity like that purposely and then turn much of it from bad to good? Well, that's what some public figures are successfully doing today. Here's how this process works. A public figure purposely makes a controversial, inflammatory statement, and the public reacts predictably by loudly and overwhelmingly giving their thoughts on the statement, which draws greater attention to the figure who made it. The figure then, with a greater audience than usual, not only clarifies their statement, which communicates their original message in a non-inflammatory way, but also emphasizes that they're being unnecessarily scrutinized by those who wish to undermine them for invalid reasons. There are three main effects.
Do you think anyone actually does that?
I think they do it accidentally. I don't think people set out to do that. I mean,
That's like
go ahead.
that's some like 10-dimensional chess. I'm gonna say something to get everyone really pissed. Like I could see like Trump doing that, with his tweets. But like, who else is doing that?
Well, Trump has a feedback that he can constantly. Most people just have one opportunity. Like Jordan Peterson,
Right.
He's obviously setting up the Bill C-16 thing. Like he said this controversial stuff with Bill C-16.
No, he's setting up
that's
the
where he's
enforced
going.
monogamy thing.
Oh, is that what he's setting up? Oh, you saw the
Yeah,
whole video, so okay.
Yeah, which is
But
my opinion. But okay.
He did not say enforced monogamy to be incendiary, though. That lady totally pulled it out of.
Right, and even if you read the article, she like kind of half explains it so you can understand what he's saying.
I know.
This is where I lose a lot of points for our poofy friend here, is because it's like for you to claim that the enforced monogamy line was like some intentional, thing to get people pissed off at him. That just seems very disingenuous.
It's totally wrong. But he's not. He believes this stuff, though. He's not being. This is stupidity. It's not malice. Like he actually honestly believes that that's what. Like he thinks
Right,
Jordan
yeah, I don't think it's
Peterson-
malice. I think it's emotion. I think he doesn't want to like Jordan Peterson, so he's viewing it in that lens.
Yeah, post hoc rationalization. He's digging.
Right.
He's digging. This is called confirmation bias at its finest. He also didn't mention the Mott and Bailey thing. Is it Mott and Bailey strategy?
Right.
He's laying out the Mott and Bailey strategy. I believe it's what it's called. It's when you throw out this outrageous argument that there's no way you can defend.
Well, he's doing his reverse Bailey.
Okay. Well, he's saying that he was saying that somebody makes this outrageous statement when they press him for clarification. They make a more modest statement, which is the Mott and Bailey.
It's the reverse Mott and Bailey.
Is it?
Because the Mott and Bailey is you put out a statement that is very easy to defend to hide your true secret intention.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
So it's like, when the alt-right talks about the IQ scores or whatever,
Right.
it's really about racism.
We got a couple super chats here. Coon for $2 says, bro, go after Godless Cranium next. I think Godless Cranium might be out of the game.
Why? What happened?
I don't know. Is he still doing videos? It seems like I
don't know.
stumbled over his channel drunk one night, and I was like, whoa, what's this asshole up to? I don't really drink, so that's obviously a joke, but it didn't seem like he had current videos. I could be wrong. It may have been someone else's channel, but Hades XY Hades XY for Swiss $5 says, you can go ahead and read that one.
First of 4 only example was Jones about its to show Peterson is a quack. What? FYI, it's Confederatio Helvetic. I can't say words. Helvetica Frank or Pfizer Franken. Okay, well, you still stole the money from my people. That's all I'm saying. You took the Nazi gold.
I don't know this, but you're obviously harboring some some animosity here. Jeez, let it go. Next, you're going to ask for reparations. What's going on here?
That's right. Yes, I want Jewish reparations. I demand it. I think there actually was some form of. I don't know if I'm wrong. I think there was some form of Jewish reparations paid from the Swiss at some point.
Godless Cranium was actually really friendly with me, and I would DM with him all the time. And he asked me for graphics and stuff for his videos, and I gave him graphics. I was thinking, this is totally cool. This is the way to be. And then I would look at his Twitter timeline, and his Twitter timeline was just ripping on me right and left. Like he was obviously doing kind of a two-faced thing, which bugged me. So Max, the Atheist McGurk in the chat said that this guy reeks of ex-fundamentalism, and he does have that look, like that kind of look. He's saying fundamentalist,
like religious guy look. I don't know what it is.
Fundamentalism. Fundamentalism. Yeah. That fundamentalist personality doesn't leave. They just change religions.
Right.
Now he's fundamentalist anti-theist. Which the belief anti-theist is the thing that they have faith in is that the world would be hearts and unicorns. If we could just get rid of these evil religions, there'd be no more conservatives.
Right. Well, it's like Candace Owens. She just changed teams. She didn't change as a person.
Totally. Did you see that Eric Weinstein was talking about Candace Owens? He used the word Candace Owens and intellectual dark web in the same.
Oh no!
Yeah, somebody.
Eric, what are you doing?
Somebody added me.
Eric,
like they were like, "Where's your video?" Because I made that video that was totally critical of Candace Owens. I took that video down. If anyone's looking for it, because it had clips from Charlottesville in the end, and it kept getting demonetized. So I didn't want to. I deleted all my demonetized videos, and now when I put up videos, they're not demonetized anymore.
So that's your working theory.
Well, it is working. It's
okay. Well, there you go. It's literally working.
Approach. 1. The public figure gets to communicate their message to a larger audience. 2. The figure gets to paint their opposition as unreasonable or even malicious. And 3. The figure actually makes more enemies, giving their supporters someone to unite against, which means more dedicated support for the figure.
How can you I mean, like this is a tactic that I guess you can say people do. But how could you tell that someone's doing it? Because you're relying on mind reading.
Yeah. Well, SJWs can all read minds. You don't know that?
Oh,
Come on.
I forgot.
That's like
Totally
that's
forgot.
their signature move.
When you select SJW on your character sheet, the perk you get is mind reading.
Yep, plus 10 mind reading.
Whether intentional or not, Jordan Peterson constantly pulls this off very successfully. Take his enforcement.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, he just spent this whole time explaining this strategy, and it's entirely intentional. And then he says, but with Jordan Peterson, maybe it's not intentional. Well, then he's not fucking doing it. If it's not intentional, then he's not doing it. That just means he's saying something and people don't understand what the fuck he's saying.
And why? How long are we into this video? Why didn't he show us examples of Jordan Peterson doing this? Like, why are we?
He's about to.
Oh, okay.
Monogamy statement. In an interview with the New York Times, Peterson encouraged the idea of what he called enforced monogamy. Now, the sound of that term, the way a layman would take it, is pretty jarring. The interviewer interpreted the term rather literally, thinking it meant legal and physical enforcement of monogamy. Think Handmaid's Tale.
Okay, so that's not even a fair characterization, because it seemed from the article that she knew exactly what he meant.
Correct. Yeah.
And he said that too. He said that she knew what he meant.
Why doesn't he just play the audio right here where he explains it?
Oh, he's going to, but it's even worse than that, because this tactic doesn't even make sense. Because, like, okay, if Jordan Peterson was like at a speech or put out a tweet or something, he's controlling exactly what it goes out there.
Right.
But this was like an interview where the interviewer shows what information to include and not include.
Right. She set him up.
Right. So, but he's like, so is Jordan Peterson this Machiavellian character who's like, oh, if I say enforced monogamy, then she'll really have to write this down.
He's a hypnotist, man. Don't you know? He did the mojo on her. He's like, enforced monogamy
Instead
included
of
in the
pocket watch,
article.
he has like a lobster claw that he just puts in front of you.
Backlash against Peterson for using this term was huge, bringing a ton of attention to him then saying this.
I don't mean taking innocent women at gunpoint and handing them over to useless men, which is essentially the accusation. You know, and it was really interesting to watch that unfold. What I meant was that monogamy as something that's socially valued appears to be essentially a human universal, and the enforcement is social norms. It's like, think about it. I can't believe that I even have to say this. So that's why, like, I'm a New York Times pariah, is because.
What's up with the two cuts, man? What are we missing here? You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
I think
We're missing
monogamy,
the one piece of the
all
video
things considered, is
that shows that he's a liar.
That shows Fedora Tipper's a liar, right? GM
Right.
Fedora Tipper. Yeah.
That must be exactly what it is. I don't know. I'm sure you do that all the time, where like I'll cut something just for time, and then people are like, "Oh, you cut something. There must be some like information that proves you wrong right there."
Well, I don't care. But I only cater to the people who like me. I don't care about the people who hate
You
me.
just delete those comments and block them from your chat.
I do, man. I banish them to hell.
a good idea. It's like, okay, fine.
The interviewer missed Peterson's intention.
See all those people yelling, enforce monogamy. Yeah. Whoa. What do you think all those people were cheering about? You think that all those people were cheering for The Handmaid's Tale? Why were all those people cheering? Why do you think all those people were cheering? Drew, come on. You think they all want enforced monogamy? Oh, wait, he thinks they're all alt-right like incels. They're like, yeah, we got our free wife. Free wife.
Pretty badly, and Peterson comes out looking in a lot of ways better to many after this ordeal. Again, whether the instance of this tactic was intentional or not, I don't know, but it did undeniably bring him more attention and support.
Okay, wait. If it wasn't intentional, then it's not a tactic. It's him saying something, and then the interviewer, who's literally sitting there and can ask him to clarify, doesn't or did and just didn't put in the article.
You got to caption that screen grab, man.
The little face.
Yeah, it was.
Whatever.
He said unintentional. I believe he just said unintentional. So
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If it's unintentional, then it's not. You can't unintentionally do something that's a strategy.
yeah, he's undermining his original argument.
He's just trying to give himself wiggle room to say, well, maybe it's unintentional. Which, I don't know, fucking pisses me off. I'm throwing things.
Just like every other time people rally against him in a reactionary way.
I figured out how to monetize social justice warriors. If they let me speak, then I get to speak, and then more people support me on Patreon. It's like, that's annoying. It's like, goddamn capitalist, he's making more money off this ideological warfare. It's like, okay, fine, let's go protest him. So they go protest me, and then that goes up on YouTube, and then my Patreon account goes way up.
The expert's Gish Gallop. This one's a bit more straightforward.
Oh, sorry, we're both pausing. We got to mention Robert Dahalik. Oh, man, I'm murdering that name. In the chat, says the example that he cut out was when he talks about the son, which is hilarious. When the son, he's like, what do you do when your son comes home and says, guess what, Dad? I've been screwing around. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That's what he cut out. That's what he cut out. He cut out the explanation of enforced monogamy.
Right, but it's not relevant to his point, because his point is Jordan Peterson is explaining it. Jordan Peterson is planning to explain it correctly later, after everyone gets mad at him.
But listen, this propaganda piece that GM Fedora Tipper did, he knew what he was doing when he cut that out. He's like, oh man, that totally explains. That makes Jordan Peterson look like a nice guy.
Right, but look, he just played this clip of. The clip he's supposed to be backing up his claim about Jordan Peterson doing this tactic. Is Jordan Peterson saying, oh, I can make money off social justice warriors because if they let me speak, people like me, and if they don't let me speak...
Oh, no, I'm talking about the other clip.
No, I know, but I'm saying that what he just did was worse. Because the clip he just played of Jordan Peterson saying, if the SJWs don't let me speak, it drums up controversy and I get more money. That has nothing to do with his point.
Yeah, the enforced monogamy point.
No, I mean, it has nothing to do with Modified's point that Jordan Peterson is purposely saying things that are misleading. Because that's not what Jordan Peterson's just saying. If you try to prevent me from speaking, then it helps me. He doesn't say, oh, I'm putting out, false information out there just to draw people in.
That is why people love Jordan Peterson, because he's saying things that are just on their face true. You tell people, oh, guess what? There's only two genders. And they're like, people have a problem with the fact that there's only two genders? It's like...
Well, I think a lot of it's just because he's able to take these concepts that everyone kind of agrees exist for good reasons, but then he explains why they exist, and you go, oh, I never thought of it in that way.
Hey, thanks for pointing that out in the chat. I'm going to recut this video with the entire clip of what he cut out and you just upload it. You'll see. Actually, I'm going to point out that he cut that stuff out. I did a video a long time ago where ContraPoints had actually edited Christopher Hitchens and cut out a bunch of really important context. And I put the video up and it just went gangbusters. People love that stuff. They're like, what? Selective editing? And it totally goes against everything that he's like. This whole video is an anti-manipulation video, right? And he's manipulating the hell out of us.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Forward. If you're speaking in front of thousands of people, especially as part of a debate, it's tough to get away with using blatant logical fallacies or dropping supposed facts that you can't back up if you don't disguise them. But if you can hide those flawed bits of rhetoric in plain sight, they might actually work in your favor. Gish galloping is a well-known debate technique in which a person overwhelms their opponent with as many arguments as possible in a short period of time. It's incredibly difficult to pick apart claims in a gish gallop one by one, so many of them slip by even if they're invalid. Now, with a slight tweak, this technique can be used to give the illusion of overwhelming expertise on a particular issue inside or outside of a debate. That tweak is simply to quickly spurt out as many detailed facts about the topic at hand as possible. They need only be tangentially relevant because the point of reciting them is only to impress the audience with the speaker's expertise by overwhelming them. Here's another Jordan Peterson example. In his talk with Matt Dillahunty, Peterson claimed that people can't stop smoking without a supernatural experience, and that supernatural experiences that discourage smoking can be induced with psilocybin. So
He you know that he misspoke there, that he clarified afterwards that you have an 85% chance of quitting smoking, not that you can't quit smoking without.
I thought he said 85% in that debate.
Yeah, he says 85%, but he just mischaracterized Jordan Peterson's position when he said he claimed that you can't quit smoking without
Right.
a mystical experience. That is not Jordan Peterson's position.
Well, 85% is a lot. Like,
It's
if you can't, if only 15% of people can quit smoking on their own.
you're like just going with it.
I mean, yeah, he shouldn't have said average, but it's, it's close. It's, what is it, true enough? Is that what we're going for?
Yeah, totally. I love that. You don't like it. That's how the New York Times article got written. Forced monogamy, true enough.
Exactly. That's why I don't agree with it.
But first of all, this point that Jordan Peterson was making in the debate was, his argument was mystical experience happens. Mystical experience is a observable phenomenon that we can study in the laboratory. And here's this study that he just threw off the top of his head to make the argument that we can study mystical experience empirically. Now they're tearing apart this particular study, but I mean, go to Google Scholar and look up mystical experience and study or moral psychology or anything. There's tons of these studies. So even if they knock apart that particular study, it still doesn't knock apart Jordan Peterson's argument.
Yeah, but isn't it? I mean, it's kind of as an advocate of shrooms, as we talked about in earlier episodes of this podcast, it's kind of a problematic to, I think, refer to people on shrooms as a mystical experience, because it's like, okay, well, what the fuck's the definition of a mystical experience? I mean, I think, Matt Dillahunty was talking about this during that debate. He's like, well, it shows that people who do shrooms, something happens in their brain and it helps them, quit smoking. That doesn't mean that it was a mystical experience.
Yeah. These studies, Jonathan Haidt talks about the studies in his book, The Righteous Mind. That's why I immediately knew what he was talking about. And some of the people, and Jordan Peterson says this in this debate, he says the people describe it as one of the top experiences of their entire lives. They go back and ask these people 20 years later, and they're like, yes, I remember this psychology experiment where we all did DMT together, or whatever they gave, psilocybin, and it transformed their lives. He even mentions, Jordan Peterson mentions it, that they have a boost in openness to new experience, which they measure with personality tests by a standard deviation. I don't know what a standard deviation is, but it sounds good. Like, I think it's like.
But isn't it like the problem though is when you say mystical, doesn't that imply something unscience, something supernatural, I guess?
Yeah, Jordan Peterson talks about this in the debate, but Matt Dillahunty is so uninformed, so unread, so uncultured. So, did I say uneducated already? So
no, but I guess my point is that shrooms could have that powerful effect on people without being supernatural.
Yes, but it depends upon how you define supernatural. And
that's kind of the problem here.
Jordan Peterson brings this up in the debate, though. Jordan Peterson is defining supernatural as the metaphorical substrate, the narrative story world that is kind of outside the natural world. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, I understand that, but Matt Dillahunty and genetically modified Fedora do not accept that as a definition of supernatural.
No, they don't. And this is when I made my video critiquing this other video, that I don't know, he's running out of material here. He's got to go back to this. He already covered this in another video. But this point that he's making here, he doesn't understand how Jordan Peterson, like, is it because there is a miscommunication going on here? Do you blame Jordan Peterson for that miscommunication?
Well, I think I just think it's a bad argument that he's bringing forth.
Who? Jordan Peterson?
Jordan Peterson, because as I said, it's evidence that something shrooms does can help you stop smoking. I mean, because the problem is that it relies on his definition of supernatural, which I don't think is most people's definition of supernatural.
Yeah, totally. I think he was screwing with Dillahunty the whole time, man. Have you watched that debate?
Okay.
Have you
I don't
watched
think
that
he was
debate? It's
screwing, though.
hilarious. It's totally hilarious. Yeah, it's funny. Everything he says, he triggers Dillahunty like 4 or 5 times during the debate. Like I've done some videos where I zoom in on Dillahunty and Dillahunty's like rage. he's like the Incredible Hulk. It's awesome.
So we have a dead man gave us a super chat.
Royce
Pember.
Who's that? Why is he dead?
Royce Pember.
I don't know who that is.
So the weebs in chat will understand. This guy is normally fair, but he's an atheist, worried about how much credence Jordan Peterson gives religion and is trying to go after him.
Yeah.
Doesn't that like describe every atheist that goes after Jordan Peterson?
For me, it just totally destroys their brand. I don't know how you can take them seriously when they just are misrepresenting Jordan Peterson right and left.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is it ruins their credibility on other issues.
Yeah. The one of the other videos that I sent to Sitch, we're not going to watch it today, but it was Jimmy Dore and climate change. And I don't have a really solid position on climate change. Do you have a solid position on climate change? I just haven't dug into the research, and I know that sounds like Paul Ryan.
Someone in chat said I was talking about the wrong person.
Oh, you messed up.
I messed up. I'm not as big of an anime weeb as I thought.
Royce Pember is not an anime character?
I was Ray Pember.
Oh, you dork.
I'm such a loser. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But in terms of climate change, I mean, I haven't personally researched it at all, but I'm obviously more, being a elitist liberal, I'm more inclined to believe it's true.
Yeah. He goes after Jordan Peterson. I guess there's a PragerU video that is harsh on climate change. And I've watched this one movie called Cool It, which seemed like a middle of the road, evidence-based critique of climate change. And it says both parties are going to the extremes, but it pitches out half a dozen ways to deal with climate change that seemed reasonable. And there was I think it's a PBS Nova on climate change, where it's called Global Dimming, I think is the name of the episode. But I guess when September 11th happened, there was no air traffic over the United States for 3 days, and it caused this really weird super low temperatures at night and super high temperatures during the day. And they were saying that all of the jet traffic, all the contrails, which it's funny, like contrails, when you say contrails, you think of Alex Jones, right? The contrails. But these condensation trails, they're water vapor, artificial clouds, I guess reflect a lot of the sunlight back and are causing the climate change not to go super crazy. The analogy that they use in the PBS special is like, imagine 2 semis going in different directions at full speed with like a rope between them.
Right. So it's kind of like we need more planes flying up, is what you're saying.
Well, this is one of the ways to deal with climate change is to release, like they could put a particulate matter into jet engine fuel and increase that global dimming effect quite substantially just by making a change to the jet fuel. Who knows what it's going to do to us.
If they did that, they would all say, oh, this is just proof they're putting in the chemicals that are going to sterilize us all.
Exactly. Well, if they picked a good chemical that sterilized the right people, then, But I think they're still working on that. Did they say anything in the Jewish newsletter about that? I can't remember.
I can't actually just divulge that information publicly.
But anyway, so the climate change thing, I haven't dived into it, but there's a lot of good arguments I feel on both sides. So the Jimmy Dore thing, he was ripping on Jordan Peterson for just tweeting out about this PragerU video on climate change and completely called Jordan Peterson a climate change denialist. I don't know that he is over one tweet. I mean, let's be real here. And then
why didn't he criticize the Prager video? Like, why does he have to? Like, who cares if Jordan Peterson tweeted it?
He did criticize the Prager video, and he cited some random YouTuber. I was like, "Who's Peter?" Like, Peter North is some SJW. I see that guy tweeting like there's 76 genders and stuff.
Oh, Peter Norway.
Yeah, I was like, it's just these people. Your credibility goes out the door when you're a 72 genders on one thing, and then you're climate change is real the other way. It just bugs me. So, but in the video, Jimmy Dore starts going off about how Jordan Peterson is for enforced monogamy. And I'm like,
oh God.
So if climate change, let's just say I am on the climate change is totally real and it's the thing we should be completely scared about and you should be losing sleep over it every night. If you watch that video and you know Jordan Peterson is not for enforced monogamy and he was totally tarred and feathered by the New York Times over this, you're going to take everything that Jimmy Dore is saying about climate change, which is a serious issue, and you're going to toss it out the window. It's so bad to be mixing these issues up like this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Jordan Peterson is a lightning rod for this stuff too. But genetically modified skeptic, there is a group of people out there that want this stuff. They want to think Jordan Peterson is a bad guy, and he's it's so funny. This is what he actually got right in the video. Jordan Peterson is who you've made out to be the bad guy, and you're going after him. We get that. We understand that. There's a market for that. I've perused his comment section, and it's pretty hilarious. Shall we continue?
Psilocybin use aiding in smoking cessation is evidence for the supernatural. He eventually admitted that this wasn't definitive evidence for the supernatural and went on to say this.
If you give people psilocybin, for example, and they have a mystical experience, not only are they much more likely to quit smoking, which is really something, but they're also much less likely to suffer from death anxiety if they have cancer. Like, that's quite the thing. And not only that, if you test them a year later and they've had a mystical experience, which the majority of them regard as the most significant one, two, or three experiences of their life, including such things as getting married, their personalities are permanently altered in the direction of more openness to experience and more creativity by a standard deviation. Like, that's walloping effects.
Laying out this information didn't change the argument from either side. In fact, it hardly affected the course of the conversation at all. This information given on top of the information on psilocybin that Peterson gave previously, some of which wasn't even correct, simply overwhelmed the audience with a sense of Peterson's credibility. It gained him some ground after he lost a bit in this part of the conversation. If you want to hear more...
Go ahead.
I feel like this is really... I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if it's intentionally dishonest or if he's just confusing himself, because this is supposed to be about, what was it, gip gashing or whatever the fuck it's called?
Yeah, gish galloping.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, okay, you throw out a bunch of arguments and then they can't respond to all of them. Like, that doesn't apply to this situation in the slightest.
Yeah,
because Peterson's argument is that people have supernatural or mystical experiences that have a profound effect on them. And he's giving you a bunch of things that happened, when a bunch of positive things that people experience after having a mystical effect. That's how you support the argument. I don't understand what's wrong with that.
Yeah, he is supporting one argument. He's not pulling out 15 arguments. So the person is forced to rebut every single one of those arguments. And I had said it before, he totally misrepresented the argument that Jordan Peterson was making. Right now, Drew is saying that this argument, what he is saying has nothing to do with the argument that I think he's making. Yeah, of course it doesn't have anything to do with the argument you think he's making, because that's not the argument he's making. The argument he's making is that we can study the supernatural. I know you don't like that word, but we can study it in a lab. Jonathan Haidt lays out all of these moral intuitions and says, not a lot of study has been done in this area, and here's where we should be studying. Here's where we should be looking. So I think Peterson, one of the reasons why I love the fact that Peterson is getting big is because I want people to study this stuff. I want to know empirically the truth. I want to know if people should do mushrooms at their wedding. Come on. We should know this stuff.
The answer is yes. You all should. She really should have played the beginning of the exchange or the question or whatever he's referencing, so the audience sees what Jordan Peterson's point is, because he doesn't do that. He just tells us what he thinks Jordan Peterson's point is.
Don't you know how propaganda works? Come on.
Okay, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. I'm being the nice guy.
Oh no, caffeinated fiends on the prowl. Someone's gonna go see Rubber. I can feel it.
$2 or 2 Canadians from Caffeinated Fiend. No, you may not spend this on paper straws, Adam.
I will. Caffeinated Fiend, actually, I should thank her while we're on stream. She did some really cool drawings of some layouts for Dick Smashers, which I don't know if you have, maybe you have. No, you haven't. I posted on this channel a script reading of a screenplay that I did. Caffeinated Fiend was saying that we should do a live reading of it.
A live reading?
Which I think would be actually kind of hilarious, but I love that script. That script is a drug addict's, it's better than Rubber. Let's just put it that way.
Well, that's a low bar. I don't know if that's where you want to be setting it.
It's better than Star Wars.
The original Star Wars, that's also a pretty low bar.
No, the original.
Okay.
Hold on,
another $2 Canucks from Caffeinated Fiend, or InfoWars Mexican steroid supplement Sitch.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee that. I need my female vitality supplements.
I saw
really gotta.
She did some really good drawings of you and a comic of you and me too. Yeah.
Yes, Caffeinated Fiend is a very talented artist.
Yes. Thank you so much. I forget what I was going to say. We can move on to old Drew here. Hey, Drew, by the way, when are you going to come on and have a little conversation with us?
Debate me, Drew.
we want to talk to you about this stuff in real time. We don't want to be misrepresented. We care about the truth here. We want to know the truth.
Look, Drew, I just want to know what product you put in your hair that makes it so poofy. That's what I really want to know. He must be taking hair supplements.
More about the lost ground I'm talking about, I do have a video about that, link in the description. The science sandwich. You've probably heard of tossing a word salad, creating a nearly unintelligible mixture of words. This is usually what...
Doesn't tossing a word salad just seem
I
sexual?
It's so wrong. So wrong. Someone had said the perfect comeback for that, because with Peterson, if it's complicated, it's a word salad, right? But if it's simple, it's so common sense. Like, why are you bothering telling me this? It's like the guy can't win. He can't say he can't say anything without people giving him a hard time.
Hades, or how did you say it? Hades
XY.
Hades XY.
I'm deleting that.
Hades XY for two Swisses. We stole nothing. We only misplaced things. I
love it. That's a man after my own heart right there. What? Stole something? Are you kidding me? I borrowed it. I just can't find it.
I didn't steal something. Someone else stole it and then gave it to me legally.
Jimmy, I'll read the next super chat. Oh, Stephen Michael Davis. What's up, Steve? $4.99. Jimmy Dore might be the biggest douche on YouTube. I've actually met Jimmy Dore. He plays at a comedy club close to my house all the time. So
he's a comedian?
Yeah. He's
Okay.
you would love it, man. He's total left winger. He's completely left winger, but I guess he is kind of SJW. I don't know. SJW cropped. I saw Jimmy Dore before 2014 when the SJW thing started going bonkers.
Right.
Royce
Pember, another 3 Aussies. Jordan Peterson or Sam Harris? ?
Yeah, what does that mean?
I guess, who do you like better?
Which one? Like, I don't know. I'm scared to comment.
What do you mean? We all know the answer is Jordan Peterson. You're
Yeah,
totally
but
on
maybe
the
it's like
JP train.
it's like who do you want to have sex with or something? I don't know. It's just a rando question mark there. We might.
So if you
neither.
so you would choose
if it's sex,
you would choose
neither. If it,
you have to choose. You have to choose one.
if it's having a beer, Jordan Peterson for everything else. Everything but sex. No,
So for sex, you choose Sam Harris.
no, neither. I said neither.
No, you have to choose. It's
no,
a choice.
No.
I mean, Sam Harris he looks a little bit more feminine, so I don't blame you. That makes sense. He's a little softer.
Sam Harris, my video today had Sam Harris in it, and Sam Harris is a pretty funny guy. I see why people like Sam Harris. And I remember reading the End of Faith, and that book is pretty hilarious. Have you read The End of Faith?
Yeah.
Do you remember the diamond, diamond the size of a refrigerator in your backyard? That's pretty funny.
Yes.
It's pretty hilarious. I wouldn't want to live in a world that doesn't have a diamond the size of a refrigerator in my backyard. I'm like, I want to live in that world. I get it. I like diamonds.
So I had to point out Monkey Chip said that Holy Mountain is better than rubber, and